Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of For the Girls podcast, brought to you by Relationship Restored. Make sure to subscribe, comment on YouTube, and give a 5-star review on the podcast. We are going to start featuring your guys' comments, so if you want to be featured, do that now. Today, we're talking about setting and reaching your goals with your partner.
So important.
So let's jump right into it, and let's talk about first being aligned with what your goals are.
Well, I mean, okay. So before you get married and you're dating this person and it's going for a while, you're getting close to that point. Like at some point, some major goals are talked about. Yeah. And, you know, that I think that's a part of the dating process. Mm-hmm. You know, are you guys aligned on the things that you want out of life? Mm-hmm. Do you want children? Do you want to buy a home? Do you want to invest? Do you want to build this dynasty? Do you want to move out to the country and have a farm? Like, I feel like these are things that are kind of hashed out while you're dating in the beginning. Maybe not in the beginning, but somewhere in there where you're like being intentional about, this is the person I want to be with in my future. Let's see if our goals align that we want out of life. And if you're finding that these do align, you know, then yeah, you should try to stay with that person. Try to be on that trajectory with that person. But if you're with a person who says, you know, I want to live in the city, you want to live in the country. I don't want kids. You want kids. I'm not interested in buying homes or investing. I'm not interested in starting a business, but you want to start a business, and you're hearing these things while you're dating, and then you go and you get married, and then
your goals aren't going to change.
Right. So like, I feel like alignment on goals happens a long time before you're married. And then when like when you get married, okay, boom. When are we doing this? When are we doing that? Yeah. You know, because we've already talked about it.
On like date 3. Right. What somebody's goals are, or if you guys are in alignment with what you ultimately want out of a relationship, out of life. So yeah, that's very important. I think a lot of girls get to a point where they realize they're not aligned, but they think getting married will align
change them, right?
That ain't gonna happen.
Girl, no. But let's actually talk. Let's back up a little bit,
rewind,
and just talk about when you're single. Do you even know what your goals are?
I mean, I think you do. Your overall goals. I don't
think.
Do
people know? Or
you know the things like what Angela mentioned, like when it comes to like living, like do you know where you would like be open to living? Do you look at finances the same? Like, do you value the cost of a dollar, or are you?
I would say though, person? When I was single, my goals are very different than they are now. So like my goals when I was single were unrealistic to a certain extent.
No, yeah, I think a lot of people have unrealistic goals, right?
But I really like. I will say when I was single, I really had to do a lot of soul searching to figure out what my real, true priorities were when it came to my goals. Right. So when I was single, my goal and my focus was on money. Like everything I did was around money. I mean, my whole career even is money. Yeah. But that's also like in alignment with my passion. I just like learning about money. I like knowing how to make money, multiply money, not pay taxes legally.
Shameless plug to Neil Moon.
Okay. Shout out to T. But I think, getting in alignment with what your goals are as an individual before you even try to think about what your goals are going to be with a person is number one. And then when you get with that person, communicating how you would like your life to live, kind of like exactly what you were saying, Angela. I know like for me and Shane, like one of my goals was to pay down debt, but I had toxic Cece had a really bad spending habit.
Toxic Cece. She popped up a few times. She was a mess. She was lit though.
She was lit, but she had a really bad spending habit. So toxic Cece had racked up $60,000 in credit card debt.
Oh wow.
So when I got with Shane, I had a goal of like, getting down my debt, but like I didn't really take it that seriously because I was still spending frivolously. Frivolously?
Mm-hmm.
Frivolously.
It's always a vocabulary session with you.
Spell it.
Oh, girl, don't even. So I was still spending a lot on, you name it, clothes, bags, shoes, food, alcohol. And so when I got with Shane, one of the first things that he said to me, because when Shane and I got together, we were very intentional about what we wanted out of our relationship. We knew that we wanted to take it to the next level. When we got together, one thing he said to me was, I will not marry you until you're debt free. That actually pissed me off.
That's like giving ultimatum.
It was.
But it pissed a positive one, though.
Yeah, but it pissed me off.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was like, internally, I was like, who the fuck are you to even say that to me? Like, I work hard. I make my own money. It's not like you're paying for my debt. Like, whatever. You have debt, too. Granted, it's different debt. He has student loan debt. Right. I have consumer debt. But, like, who the fuck are you to say that to me? But that was, like, he really put his foot down when it came to, I want you to really focus on getting this debt off. I think looking back at it, it was a test, but not a test in a negative way. He wanted to see how serious is this girl. Yeah. Because when you get into a relationship, it's not just about sex, lust, romance, trips, good food. You are getting into a business relationship also. And Bree can talk about this a lot because her and her husband actually have a business together.
Right.
But when you get into a relationship, you get into a business relationship also. Okay? So money. So the two things that can make or break, really can break up a relationship is sex and money. Okay? So when you get into a relationship, you have to talk about money. You have to be in alignment with money. So for Shane, he knew that he didn't want to be with a woman who had a spending problem, right? Because it was kind of like a test. Like he wanted to see, like, can you control yourself? Can you control your spending? Like who had a spending problem and who wasn't serious about her finances. So because we were both in alignment that we wanted to pay down debt, I didn't like how he communicated it with me, but he wasn't wrong in what he was fundamentally saying to me. Because we were in alignment, I was able to pay down $60,000 of credit card debt in less than 2 years.
Okay. That's an achievement, girl. Yeah.
But he also helped me. So I think when you're talking about goals, it's not just about like, okay, we have the same goal, but the execution in the plan of that goal, you have to be in alignment with, right? Yeah. So in order to execute me paying down $60K of consumer debt, he allowed me to not pay rent. I really didn't have to pay anything. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pay rent. Like I only paid for like little stuff like groceries or whatever. And we live in Washington, D.C. In Southwest in a very expensive neighborhood. And I didn't have to pay anything. Yeah. So he contributed to my efforts to aggressively pay down my debt because it was in alignment with our goals. Right? So I think when you're talking about goals, one, having a clear understanding of what your goal is, and what it'll take to achieve your goal, and making sure that you and your partner are in alignment and are in agreement with the plan that you're going to then execute.
Yeah, one thing Dre and I do that I love is at the end of every year in December, we do like a getaway situation where we don't go anywhere fancy. It's usually like somewhere within like a 3 to 4 hour drive and in the middle of like nowhere where you can just kind of like get away. And we always reflect on our year and like the goals that we had set the prior year and like where we are with things, how we feel about things, what we want to focus on next year. And we set our goals for the next year in December, but we set our together goals and then like our individual goals as well. And the biggest thing with that when it comes to like actually reaching, like anyone can set goals, that's the easy part. But when it comes to getting to that goal, you have to be intentional. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to have a method and a process that you're going to agree, like, we're going to commit to doing this, and then a way to actually measure it. So what we do is Q1 all the way to Q4 goals. So 4 major goals happen and are set at the beginning or at the end of every year for that following year. And when we skip like a quarter meeting where we don't review like where are we with our goals, that's the only time that we don't reach them. So it's like being very intentional. And I would suggest this for personal goals too. If you're single, please goal set at the beginning of the year or at the end of the prior year, so that you can measure, okay, by this month I want to do this, by this month I want to be here. And one thing that I've learned from goal setting as an individual, and why I feel like very early on I was like successful in like getting a lot done and people being like, how the hell did you get this and this done, is because I set one overall goal for the year and then I break that goal down into 4 smaller goals. So instead of feeling like all year long I'm chasing one goal, it's like I have measurable goals set as the quarters go, and that's super helpful. And I think not enough couples talk about goals together.
Absolutely. And I will also say, related to that, so for me, and this kind of goes back to my finance background, I do a weekly audit of my goals. Right now, a lot of Shane and I's goals are financial goals. So at the end of every week, we look at and talk about our finances.
That would stress me out.
Yeah.
Well, see, I mean,
but you're on it.
Great.
But that's us, and our goals are in alignment with our finances. So we do a weekly audit, and also we just both like talking about money. Like, girl, for me personally, I look at my bank account and I like kind of like I'm almost doing like a daily audit, to be honest with you. I look at my bank account every single day. One of the first things I do, like as part of my morning routine, is check my bank account, because I want to see what did I spend in the last 24 hours, because sometimes I don't know. And I want to make sure that I'm in alignment. I check the markets because I want to see what my investments are doing, just because I'm an active trader. But we do these weekly audits. We do these monthly audits. We kind of like how you're saying, like how you guys do it, like quarterly and monthly. Like, we just do it at a heightened level because we want to make sure that we are
a lot can happen in a month
in alignment in alignment with our short-term goals, because if your short-term goals aren't right, then your mid-term goals are going to be off, then your long-term goals might be off. So, having those times where like you kind of like sit down, and it doesn't have to be a like long process. Like, it can literally take like 5 minutes. Like, hey babe, like I went through our finances and I checked all the accounts and I noticed that we're spending a little bit more here and we need to reallocate the portfolio because, the market's doing this and like, shit's going left over in Russia. And so I don't think investing in this is a good idea right now, whatever. But like, you need to sit down and have those conversations with your partner, and you need to allocate time to have those conversations.
Yeah. I was about to say, I like that. I like the weekly thing. It kind of reminds me of Sean. Like, if you don't know, he's into bodybuilding. He has to check in every week, and this is what he does for his clients as well. Pictures on the scale with your toes on them. Pictures of your front, your back, your side, your side. Like, he does it for himself and for his clients. And like, you can see, he sent me a picture of his last week's check-in, and you could see what he was this year, same time last year.
I mean, I see it on his Instagram.
Way more shredded. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I want to take that to couples. So I don't know if I've mentioned it before in an earlier episode. We do talk time. That was what the pastor who married us gave us as our tool. And talk time doesn't have to be just about like the issues. It could be about checking in on finances. And hey, we have this coming up. Hey, we have that coming up. Now, a tool that really helps us is the shared calendar. Like,
oh God,
that's changed so much for us. Like, even to the point where the shared calendar lets us know at Sunday at 9 p.m. did you have your talk time? And we have to check it off if we did. And if we didn't, our asses have to sit down and have that talk time, even if it's for 5 minutes. Like,
that's good.
This is what's coming up this week. This is what's gonna reach us here.
We need that.
Yeah. I mean, and it checks it off. And then like shit, like, hey, you know, this month we were supposed to save this much. Do we have it? And what are we gonna do? This month, you know, this was supposed to be this was supposed to be that. Like it gives that space to talk about it. It's open. It's a neutral space. Now we're not as disciplined as you guys with like going through the bank account.
So hold on, like I'm gonna.
We should be though.
I'm sorry, Shane. I'm gonna throw you under the bus a little bit. It's more me than it is Shane. Like, I have to like because how I love how you and Sean have the shared calendar. That would never work for Shane. When it comes to like administrative stuff, that is not his thing.
Yeah,
it's not Shane's thing.
It's to the point where we got in our renovation for our house, we got the little the smart fridge.
Oh, cool! I love those.
But it pops up for Sean. Today you're picking Alina's ass up so mommy can do this, then the
That's
third.
good.
To go to the gym to reach this goal that we talked about in December.
So cool.
You know
what I'm
pops
saying?
Up my mouth in Shane's face. Baby, I need you to go pick up Capri. What time? Between this time and this time. Okay.
Right?
Like,
and so, and like,
wait, he doesn't talk like that. He's not like, okay. Like, my man's very intelligent. But
right.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Right. But like, and I agree with, so we don't do a getaway. I wish we could. But I was talking about this on our Instagram a week or so before New Year's. We make it a point, and we put it, I wish we had some fancy template, but we put it in a shared note with the green checks.
Whatever works for you guys.
And like, by this time we're gonna do this, by this time we're gonna do that, by this time. And I'm gonna be honest, we didn't meet all of them last year.
Yeah,
but we met
okay.
majority of them.
Yeah. The point of goals is to be working towards the same united front. You know, like what are we doing and how are we getting there?
Because if you don't supporting each other goals, too, because you have the individual ones. Because I had a Sean has an individual. Angela, how am I supporting you?
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about individual goals and expectations that you may have about your partner supporting you, how expectations don't get met.
If you agree to that as his wife, if you agree to, I'm going to help you reach this goal, you better not renege. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sean is into bodybuilding. You know, he's going to kill me now, but it's very superstitious to say when your show is. So I'm not going to say when his show is. But like, he knew that back in December he's going to do a certain show when it's warm outside. So, but what does that mean for me to support him? Yeah. That means morning time, off limits. He does all his workouts and fasted cardio. But how does he support me and our family goals? He sacrifices by waking up at 4:45 a.m. every day to go lift a heavy ass workout and then do fasted cardio afterwards. So I agree to take over the mornings. And if you know my child, she's a 13-year-old and a 2-year-old body. She has to pick at her outfits. We are arguing. I would rather Sean take the mornings, but I'm supporting him. But that means he's sacrificing. So in the evening, Angela can go work out and try to reach, and this is fitness goals. You know, we of course we have financial as well. We need to sit with Shane and Cece, obviously, because I am not checking my market. I don't know what the portfolio is doing.
Cece's checking the market, and then Cece advises Shane on what we need to do, and Shane.
And so that's the beauty of having.
But we have roles, right? So like me, I'm the financial person. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Shane is typically, he has the capital. So it's like, I know the plays, he brings the capital, right? And then also,
but he has to agree to it. He has to agree to the plays.
He has to agree to the plays.
He has to agree to the plays.
And also, Shane's very, very financially literate, too. So he knows.
I mean, especially if he's telling you, I'm not marrying you until you get rid of $60K.
Oh, girl, he wasn't playing. Yeah. But I mean, similar to you, Shane supports me as well. Like, I'm a new mother. My daughter, at the time of this recording, my daughter is going to be 1 next week.
Yeah.
Next week. So my daughter will be 1 next week. And so it's crazy. I'm a new mom. I also have a full-time job. I am a financial consultant at a big firm. I'm also doing this beautiful podcast with some of my besties. I'm also trying to learn new and different skill sets. I'm also an active trader, so I'm learning technical financial strategies. I'm doing all of this simultaneously.
Which takes a lot, and you need
Girl,
someone to help you.
I
He
need
has to
help,
support
right?
that.
So like right now, while we're filming, you know, my husband takes on those responsibilities. Like he does that whenever I ask. It's never a point of like, he's like, ugh. He's like, what do you need, baby? How can I support you?
Right.
He is here for it. You know, it's funny, when we first started dating, he used to tell me all the time that like, I'm going to go off and like, you know, be doing great things. And like, he's going to tell people like, oh, me, I'm just a dentist.
Yeah.
Like my wife is over here doing this, and this, you know?
Yeah.
So he is fully supportive of backing me and letting me go out and flourish. He has no problem being on daddy duty at all. He has no problem supporting me financially.
Like a side note, that's something really cool about this generation of men. And I just want to like really give
shout
a
out
round
to the
of
brothers.
applause
Yes.
to the men now. Because I'm not trying to shame my father's generation, but that was I don't know how my mother did it.
This is totally new school.
She picked us up. She did this.
Totally
she did that. Like it was very different.
My dad never changed a diaper.
That's what I'm saying. So like, and my mom had dinner. Like it you know, it's different. And I just want to really give a shout out to the men now.
Yeah.
The men in this generation. They are really, you know, they're letting my husband the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know,
they're letting.
That's how it always should.
But also in this generation, women are more empowered to go off and do what they have to do and kind of really truly embody the power that women have and kind of just flourish in their own spectacular way.
Yeah. And they love us.
Yeah.
They love us.
I want to go back to supporting the goals. I feel like this is something that has been a struggle for me in the last few months because of how much stuff me and Dre have going on. And it's easier to set goals, communicate, and be supportive if there's one goal that's, you know, that each of you have, or one main goal that everyone's doing, or if you have like a typical 9-to-5 type of like job or schedule or whatever. And something that I'm learning now and still trying to figure out, and really therapy has been helping with that, is how to not overset too many goals, or how to not have too many things on your plate to where you have to sacrifice your person. And with the launch of this podcast and this network and everything going on, like this is why it's good to know your person. When Dre set his launch date, he's the type of person that will overthink and push it back and push it back and push it back and push it back. So I made an announcement on Instagram, and I knew he was going to be upset about it, that he was launching on Monday. And I got a text as soon as I got from the airport. Now, he didn't know at the time that I was planning a surprise launch event for him. So I had to make sure that he actually was launching on Monday. So I had to like act fake, and I'm like, what do you? I'm like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. And he's like, I mean, you kind of like, you know, put it out there before me, like you know, I haven't even mentioned it yet. And I'm like, I mean, I'm so sorry. Should I take it down, or you know? And he's like, no, I mean, it's up now. So I'm like, okay, so he's gonna stay.
What you were doing, Bree.
Then when the launch event and everything happened, you know, he communicated how grateful he was that like I did that, and that it pushed him to make sure that he did what he needed to do, because I know my person. But in the same way, he knows me too, and I always am setting goals, and I'm always like, I'm gonna do this, and this, and I'm never a person that says like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take this one off of my plate, because it just doesn't make sense. Until this year I've really gone out of my way,
which I'm very proud of you about, because that's my daughter. I call Bree Capri all the time. Bree, you sometimes take on more than you should, and it makes you overwhelmed. And I'm so proud of you that within this year you've been very true to yourself and saying, not right now. Or sorry, I would love to, but no, I can't.
And I know Dre's helped with that. Like, I know you wanted to, like, with your membership, which is awesome. Shameless plug. Please join.
Shameless.
I know you wanted to do like
all the things.
You wanted Sean to come and do fitness stuff, like, and it was too much.
I had to reel it in.
And who helped you? Who was the person who knew, like, who was that person?
My hubby.
Your hubby.
Mhm.
Because he knew better. He knew better.
Your spouse knows you the best.
And I think
that's why in the early dating, it's important to know who you're dealing with, because you have to know, is your person an overachiever? Is your person an underachiever? Do they need extra support? Do they need you to just kind of be in the background and just be like, hey, like, it's what happened? How'd it go? You know what I mean? Like, you got to know like what role to play. But then when it comes to being supportive, and this is something that, you know, we're working on right now, is like communicating what is going to make you feel supported, and what things to look for that would let your person know that you're overwhelmed or you're doing too much, and I might need you to reel me in. And that has been super helpful. But again, it's a constant work. But the more that you and your person are doing, the more hectic and the harder it's going to be to support each other and to stay on top of it. And so one thing I just want to say is, when you are setting goals, whether for yourself or for your partners, just be realistic and create plans that aren't going to tear you down if you don't reach the goal, because that happens a lot. People set goals and they stop setting goals because they aren't reaching the goals, but they're not setting the right goals.
Right. So here's my question for you, Bree, and Cece too. Like, what are your tracking methods? Like, y'all know me, what I told y'all, we have a shared note in our iPhones that have the green checks, and we go through them during our talk times on Sundays. And if we don't have talk time, our phone will keep snoozing until we sit down with each other, even if it's in the bed before we go to sleep.
That's so good. I want to start that.
Yeah. What are y'all's method? What are y'all's tracking? Like anything that can help the girls.
I can talk a little bit to that. So again, my husband and I's goals currently, majority of them are on finances. I have a financial background, so I have a very detailed spreadsheet.
I knew it. I was waiting for. I was like, say it, spreadsheet.
I have a very, very detailed.
So you're good
at
Excel.
Yes, with a lot of sophisticated formulas in them, and so I'm able to track our finances to the T, to the penny. But that's what works for me. Like, for instance, I have a spreadsheet for our real estate. So I know if we're making profit on our real estate or if it's actually costing us. I know when we'll go into profit. I can track my taxes. I can track everything in there. I have a spreadsheet for my personal budget. So I know how much I make bi-weekly, and I can track my budget. I can see how much excess I have, and then I can allocate that to my different brokerage accounts. So for me, it's like actual spreadsheets that help with tracking.
Okay.
And also I take very detailed notes. Bree has seen some of my notes.
I love Cece.
I've seen the notes as well. When you pulled that thing up, I was like, whoa, Cece.
So I also take very detailed notes, and that's just how I like to operate. And like, my notes are in my phone. I don't like write out my notes. I like to take notes in my phone. So that and then also that allows me to share that with Shane. Shane is the type where he keeps everything in his head, which I've told him about. I've told him about himself, about that specifically, that he needs to get it out of his head because he internalizes it too much. Right. So he needs to write it down. He needs to actually see it on paper or in his phone, so that he can start tracking it a little bit better and like start putting some metrics to some of his goals. But for me, it's through spreadsheets and notes. And because our goals are more financial, it's actually like hard numbers that we can actually track over time.
So for finances, Jerry and I, all of our money is in one place. Like, if he swipes, it's in that account. If I swipe, we can see everything. But we use Good Budget to put what we spent, what it went towards. So at the end of the month, we're able to see exactly how much was spent on what. And then he has it set up to where there's like envelopes and folders, so we can see like how much is left for, fun, how much is left for travel, how much is left for X, Y, and Z. But something was in the air this year, and Dre has been very flexible on the budget lately.
Ooh,
So
nice. I'm making money.
I don't know. Now I'm a little confused, and I'm like, well, should I put it in the thing? Like, what do you want from me? Like,
I mean, but you guys have good habits around spending, though.
Yeah,
because
so it's been transitioning, but good budget is what we use for finances. For our team and business stuff, we were using Monday.com, but now that him and I don't have to actually work together in our business, he has his own method. I use Dubsado. And then for our together, just like personal stuff, we use Trello. So we have like a couples board and has like all of our little things on there. So that's what kind of keeps us together.
I like that. I'm gonna look at Trello.
Trello's good.
We use a financial app too. I forgot what it's called. I just know it's red, and we click on it. And I see what's been spent. Well, he sees what's been spent, and it tells us if we've overspent. So,
yeah. Do you like? I'm assuming you have linked all of your accounts.
Yes, we have all our credit cards linked. Like, I'm horrible at spreadsheets. Sean's good at them, but I get so frustrated and flustered with them. Like, I will literally.
It's not for everybody.
I'm a teacher. I'll take a whiteboard out, get a ruler, make some lines.
Yeah.
No, for real.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But yes, all of our we have a joint. We have our personal money goes there. We have savings. We have a joint savings. I have my own savings. He has his own savings. And then, we both also have a business. So we, at the moment, the money's coming to the same business account because our businesses are under the same LLC.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, we're pretty new at that. And that's a goal that we have this year, is to figure out how to streamline that and make it so there's not so much work that we're doing in terms of receipts and
because it can become
expense
a lot.
reports. We've always been salaried. And so now that we're generating income from businesses, last year was like the beginning. This year is like, okay, we are going to really like figure this out together. And that is on our goals. That's on our goal list that we made in December.
And to kind of talk about goals that aren't financial.
Right.
So one of my goals right now, one of my personal goals right now is that it's small. I want to do fasted cardio for 30 minutes every single morning.
That's a good one.
Before my daughter wakes up.
Ooh, I'll
and it's me time too.
Right? It is. It's me time. And also I am shifting how I get my dopamine. Right? So previously I would get my dopamine fix from scrolling through Instagram. That's unhealthy. That's a toxic habit in my personal view.
Right.
In any view.
So instead of scrolling mindlessly through Instagram, I want to wake up in the morning, be intentional. And also, I just had a baby a year ago. I'm trying to get off some extra fluff. We have girls trips coming up.
Oh my God.
Like, I want to, and y'all, if y'all have not seen our girls, they are all fun. Okay.
Like snatched to a T.
So
it's unfair.
So I want to look good for myself. I want to feel healthy. So how I track and measure that is by actually getting my ass up every single morning at 7 a.m., going downstairs and getting on the treadmill.
And the awesome part is Shane
keeps me accountable to that.
He watches Capri.
When do you wake up?
So right now I'm waking up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, let me do it with you. We can text each other. And
Perfect. Yeah.
Make sure we're in the gym.
Yeah.
I wish. I'm commuting at that point.
I do it. I wake up and go down there between 7 and 7:30.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. That's what time I wake up and work out. Anyways.
Perfect.
I just got to switch to running instead.
And I do that too. But yeah, so keeping each other accountable in that way, because like that's how I track it, is by actually getting my ass up and going down there.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, because he wakes up around the same time in order to go into the office and drill on some funky teeth, he'll be like, babe, are your actions in alignment with your goals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's mornings where I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, he's right, and he's right because he loves me, and he's holding me accountable because he loves me.
Yeah.
So let me get my ass up. Let me go downstairs to the gym and make sure that my actions are in alignment with my goals.
I was about to bring that up.
And
holding each other accountable for the goal that you set.
And I was gonna say, make it
fun.
fun.
You set. He didn't even set it.
That's
you set that one.
Bro. I think you got to make it fun, right? It's like setting goals isn't the funnest thing in the world, but you can make it a cute date night. Like do like a picnic in the house, like some candles, have your notebooks out, and like have like a 5-minute meditation
I like
session
the getaway
where you just kind of.
I like
No,
the
I
getaway.
know.
That's really cute.
actually did
Sometimes
that
you can do a staycation
because of you guys.
and just did you?
So if you guys don't know, a lot of what Shane and I have implemented is because Bree and Dre have been a positive influence in our relationship. And it started from the very, very, very beginning when we first started dating. You guys would do kind of like getaways. And so Shane and I now do Costin retreats.
Yes.
Costin retreat. I love it.
This year we went up to West Virginia, got a cute cabin in West Virginia right on the river. We went snowboarding. We talked about our goals. Like we got in alignment. And it was beautiful and it was great. And we had so much fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, the getaways are the best because yes, you can try to do it at home. Yes, you can try to make a dinner reservation somewhere and say after this, we're going to go home and do this. But there's nothing like being away, having your phone out in front of you, letting your loved ones know like, hey, we are unreachable from, this day to this day. So if you can, and even for yourself, if you're single, do a getaway for yourself.
Yes.
Like, when it comes to setting goals, you have to be in a clear-headed space. Like you have to.
I low-key, not even low-key, I'm going to start doing like solo getaways once a year where I can like just decompress and really internalize what my personal goals are, because I can't do that when I'm around anyone else because I feel like I'm influenced by them. I want to be alone with my own thoughts. I want to be by myself. I think there's good that comes in being alone
for sure,
and meditating with your own thoughts and journaling and just getting a clear vision on where you want to go, because if you are a better person and you are achieving your own goals, then you can be a better person to your partner.
And this is the last thing I want to say about the goals and like setting and reaching them is it's so important to do that, once a year or 3 times a year or whatever, but you have to make it a part of your daily routine. Like if you don't see your goals, you won't remember them. If you don't every day do something that's getting you closer to that goal, you're not going to get there. You're going to look and be like, wow, it's been 60 days already and I didn't move the needle at all. So I am very big on like having a morning routine. When I wake up and I don't do my morning routine, Dre will know immediately. My attitude is different. The way I walk is different. It's a little heavier. Yeah, it's very like, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I love you. I had a bad morning. I didn't drink all my coffee. I didn't do my journaling. I missed my workout. Like I'm frantic. And so it's a thing that has made me become more successful is having a daily routine that allows me to start my morning off to be my best self. There has been times where I've gone 2-3 weeks without maintaining my morning routine. And you can tell from looking at my month. It's like, ooh, sis, what happened? So that's a big part. Like make it a daily routine. Make sure your goals are somewhere where you can see them. Make sure you're doing small things every day that get you closer to whatever those goals are.
Or like something that pops up on your phone. I'm telling you, that shared calendar is like, crap, that joint will pop up on my phone and his phone at the same time. Like,
so like one thing about me, like when Shane and I first started dating, he really liked this. So have you guys seen the movie The Beautiful Mind or something like that with Russell Crowe? I think Russell Crowe. So essentially it's kind of like what we do is like he's like writing his thoughts on windows. So like for
you do that.
Yeah, we both do it. So I do that a lot. Like my goals and like what I'm thinking, it's all over I have whiteboards, blackboards, windows, it's everywhere, right? Because I need to get out and I need to see it. So like if you have goals, write it on your mirror. You look in your mirror every single day. So if it's right there in front of your face, like you can't not work towards it when you are faced with it every single day. Also, another thing that I really want to note is that you're not always going to be motivated towards your goals. So one strategy that I do to keep myself motivated, and I'll use one example. There's many different ways, but I'll just tell you one. So in the morning, I'm not a morning person, but I'm making myself do fasted cardio, right? Because that's my goal. So when my alarm goes off at 7 a.m. and I'm like, fuck, man, I do not want to get out of this bed. I literally just want to snuggle where it's warm.
Especially when you know you can.
Right? Especially when you can.
Yeah.
One trick that I do is I do a countdown. I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Same thing. What's her name? The girl.
Mel Robbins.
Y'all gotta watch this.
Mel Robbins talks. This is her method.
It is great.
So Mel Robbins talks about doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. And once you hit 1, your feet need to be on the floor and you need to be up and out your bed.
And it feels so good.
It does. It feels so good. It's like, okay, I know I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it because this is my goal and I'm going to be committed to it.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Throw the sheets off and you're out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Because motivation is a real thing. You're not always going to be motivated. There's going to be many, many, many days where you're like, man, fuck this. It's not attainable. I don't even know why I made this stupid goal in the first place. You have to find those methods to keep pushing yourself forward because every single goal is obtainable. Yeah. There are people who started from shit. They started from nothing. They were poor, they were homeless, and now they are multimillionaires.
And that's I was about to bring up that point.
Everything is possible.
Anything. Like you brought up, like, which is beautiful, that y'all can like get up at 7, or like you can kind of take a trip on your own sometimes. And there's like not a lot of people who can do that. Like some people are waking up at 6:30 and they're commuting, and some people don't have, like, we have grandmas helping us with, some people don't have that luxury, or some are single moms, and so some of them are probably listening to us like these girls,
these bitches,
right? But
can't relate.
But yes, and like I want to bring that up as like someone who does commute, and sometimes it is difficult for me to get, but I'm thankful because I have grandmas who help me and my husband who watches. So, but like Cece said, there are girls out here doing it. There are bitches out here who are single moms, getting up, going to the fucking gym, reaching those goals, saving their money. Like, they're out there, and I think that should be a good piece of motivation too. Yep. And we talked about like Instagram, like faking for the gram. Find someone who inspires you. And I think like the inspiration will help you reach those goals.
Don't look to Instagram solely for inspiration. Yeah. Try to find that internal inspiration and not look for external validation, inspiration, because that's going to fail you at times. Because there's going to be times when you don't feel like getting up and you're going to be like, oh, let me just watch a YouTube video. And then we're like, that one didn't work. Let me watch the next one. It's like, no. Find it from within. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, and
no one said it's easy.
It's not easy. It's hard as shit.
But the thing is
I struggle every day.
And when you start making all of those better choices now, you're gonna look at your life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and be like, "Wow, look at where I came from."
Step by step,
like,
right?
And the thing is, like what you're doing with your membership story. The success story is better for the people who are in unfortunate situations. Like, I'm not in an unfortunate situation now, but I was. And like my come up story is dope. And I am prouder of it because of where I came from. So if you have the kids, if you have the bad relationship, if you don't have the finances, if you're living out of your car, baby, it's not easy. But if you do it, honey, how good it's gonna feel. How good it's gonna feel when you're on the other end of that. So you just gotta keep on going.
Find that first thing, like whether it's within, like you said, if you see Bree and you hear her inspiration, and that gives you that oomph, or join a group, join something, like do something. And we do have husbands who push us, which I think is awesome. And we set goals with them too. So I think whatever it is, I think everybody's coming from different backgrounds, different jobs, different habits, whatever it is, there's always like a step one. Yeah. What is that step one for aligning your goal? Your step one, in December, you and your husband take a staycation. Our step one, we have those talk times. Like your step one, you got those bomb spreadsheets. But it's something.
That's like step 35.
It is. Highly 10 out of 10 do not recommend starting with very sophisticated spreadsheets.
Right.
You'll get frustrated.
There are applications that can do it way better. That's just what
there's
works
so
for
many,
me.
There's so many things out there. And like just coming from like a teacher's perspective. We do assessments. We do beginning of the year assessments, middle of the year, end of the year assessments, whatever your school system does. We give the same assessment each time.
Yeah.
So we can see like this kid knows this many letters at the end of the year, the middle of the year, but they don't know this. So how are we getting there? Give yourself the same assessments. If it is a fitness assessment, are you taking pictures of yourself? That should be step one.
Yeah.
Like Sean said, a lot of his clients don't like to take pictures of themselves.
Can't relate.
Like, how are you gonna know what your body looked like on day 1
I know.
versus day 10? I
True.
know back in the day when I was having financial issues, I did not want to look at my bank account.
Okay.
Like, you gotta do step one.
I have a screenshot in my phone currently of my bank account in the red. Like negative in the red. Like withdrawal fees. Like because ain't no money to be withdrawn. You know? So I have screenshots of that, and I was like, you know what? Even though this moment of my life fucking sucks right now,
It's step one.
it's step
You
one.
looked at it.
And I'm going to take a screenshot of this
Yeah.
because I know I'm not going to stay here forever.
Right.
So now seeing where my accounts are and where my portfolio
Yeah.
is and being able to see how positive it
Yeah.
is, I'm like, it's so fulfilling
Yeah. Yeah.
seeing where I was
Yeah.
and seeing how far I've come.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to forget the low times because it
Yeah.
makes the highs that much better.
Yeah.
Well, this was a great episode, ladies. If you guys are listening and you feel you need help with staying motivated, setting goals, I would highly recommend joining my Shameless Me membership.
Yep.
You can find all the information on shamelessme.co. But overall, I think the main thing here is that you have to start by just setting the goals and then finding ways that work for you and or your partner combined to make sure that you guys are getting there. And also don't feel bad if you don't reach that goal.
Yeah.
Just, keep going. And it's all about the small choices, the better choices every single day. So let's cheers to setting and reaching our goals.
Cheers.
Another
girls.
episode of For the Girls podcast.
Yes.
Shout out to the ladies.
Yes.
Go set those goals.
Okay.